Thank you everybody for coming today. This is Leveraging Market Stats to Boost Your Business series. Really appreciate everybody who's on the call, and also we're streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Really appreciate it. Number one, it's a Friday, so thank you for making the time. And number two, we're coming a little bit earlier than normal. This is our sixth year doing this program every single month, but we've moved it up a little bit. Normally it's around like the 20th. So now we're releasing the stats about a week earlier, so it's going to be around the 16th. And the reason with that is we work with Florida Realtors just to see if we could get the stats out earlier to you guys. And so that's going to happen this year. And you're seeing that today because it's 16th and you're getting the December 2025 stats. So first of all, thank you, Alfredo, the chairman of the board. We start with the top. Alfredo, how's everything doing? And how are you looking forward to this program here?
Well, Chris, it's always fun to do this. So we'll start off the year. One of the things for those that are going to be watching this recording or watching on Facebook Live, etc. So we'll start off with one thing. Chris provides this amazing report, and he provides this, and this is with Gay and the rest of the team. They provide these reports where you have all the different stats that are in Florida and are a specific submarket. So definitely a great opportunity to see that. I also want to make sure that everybody out there watching knows that next week is GARD, Great American Realtor Days. So our very own Senator Anna Maria is here. And one of the things with Great American Realtor Days that we do is we go up to Tallahassee as realtors, and we go and we talk to the elected officials, and we talk to them about your property rights, insurance, affordability, all that good stuff. So if you've never been there and you're a realtor, real estate professional, it's your opportunity to go. I think there's still some opportunities to check that out. But if not, I will be there. And one of the things that we'll be making sure is that there's home ownership for all in Florida. So that is next week. So Chris, I think I said the intro. I think we also have the Miami president, Dinora Guerra, on here too. So we got a couple of celebs. But yeah, I'm excited to go over the market report and see what's going on there.
Yeah, no, a lot of celebs. Yeah, thank you, Alfredo. That was awesome. So this is our agenda for the next hour. We're going to go over the December 2025 stats. I put it into the chat. All of these stat reports are going to be on sfmarketintel.com, which I'm going to show you. But this month is a big month because we have county stats, city stats, zip code stats, and we also have it for the entire year of 2025, in addition to December. And so this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. This is our schedule. So if you guys want to plan out the year, I know Denora is on the chat. She's going to be one of our leaders here this year, but we have our schedule already. So if you guys could register, we're getting these on the website for you to register. Our next one's going to be February 17th.
Chris, I know you'll share more of this, but if you go to Miami Realtors, MiamiRE.com, on the top where it says stats is where they can find these reports. So you all put these reports out, and then I know you also send out an email. So make sure you register for these things because it's a great opportunity for you to see what's happening in the market from a local and national level.
Yeah, great question. And then I was looking at the chat. Yeah, there's a question about, are those stats coming up monthly, weekly, quarterly? Well, monthly. You know, we do this program every single month. But the stats that we post, we have yearly stats, we have quarter stats, and month stats. As you'll see when you go to sfmarketintel.com, which I think is coming up here. But yes, so this PowerPoint is this recording, this Zoom webinar is being recorded. And yes, we have the PowerPoint. I know a lot of times members want to get this PowerPoint. So if you type in your email into the chat, I will email this to you later this afternoon, this PowerPoint. And this is what I was talking about, sfmarketintel.com. There's a question about where can I get the reports? This one, if you could just write down one website, sfmarketintel.com. We are busy uploading all the reports, this as we speak right now. And so later this afternoon, you'll have everything there, sfmarketintel.com. All right, Alfredo. So I'm going to go over the three counties, then I'll ask you a question. So when looking over the December 2025 stats, a great month all across the board. And you can see similar trend lines, total home sales up in Miami-Dade, condo sales up. And here's Broward County, similar story there. And Palm Beach, significant increases. But Alfredo, yeah, so I guess the first question is I want to ask you about the condos. I want to ask you about condos because we had a reporter from the Miami Herald was interviewing Danielle, and she wanted to know about condos, and the stats that I gave Danielle was 3 of the last 4 months for condos have been positive. The first 3 of the year. So the condo market really resilient, really end of the year very strong. But what do you think about the condo market now as we're in 2026 and the type of year it could have?
Man, Chris, right out of the gate. All right. I feel like I feel like I'm getting interviewed by the Miami Herald. So I think that was positive news to see the increase of the condo sales and to see people buying in the condo market. I think parts of segments of the condo market, especially the $1 million and under, are segments that you've seen a lot of buyers get into the market. That's a segment where you're starting to see some of the buyers that might have sold their homes and had equity in their properties that they don't want a property more and they're looking at the condominiums. The other thing we're going to see is hopefully with this continued support and the continued thing that we're doing where we're getting more documentation and knowing what's going on with assessments or repairs, the condo is going to be a more viable option for those first time buyers that can get in under $1 million and also for those downsizing. So I think that market in condos this year should remain positive. And we're also seeing the ultra luxury condos continue to get contracts and the new developments, which I know we'll talk about later. But condos is a segment. If I'm a realtor watching this, the condominium segment is probably a segment that if you understand what you're doing there, it's a great opportunity because there is inventory and not all the buildings need drastic repairs. Some is very minor, and most are going to be hopefully financeable in the near future. So there's a lot of opportunities there and upside. So to answer the question, this was positive with a lot of we heard a lot of negative stuff on condos, but it's actually positive and it shows there is a demand for it, especially with people that are seeing it's the condo, the assessments and everything are within range of purchasing.
Yeah. And so as a realtor, it's about doing your due diligence and researching these
Correct.
buildings, right? That's the main part.
Correct. And understanding them. And I think that with that and the legislation that has been placed, we're going to see a good opportunity there.
Nice. Okay, great. And so here's Broward County, here's Palm Beach County. All right, mortgage rates. I know this is always a hot topic. And in looking at these stats throughout the years, I see that mortgage rates have an impact with home sales. And so we saw mortgage rates. I looked the other day, is at 6.07, which at this time about last year was around 7. So a drop of 1%, that's pretty big news, right, Alfredo?
Yeah, I think for like an hour it dropped to 5.9%. So for a quick hour it dropped to 5.9. But yeah, if you look, one of the things that people forget on interest rates is they've had these big jumps or these big swings. So you go look at different eras or different times, right? The famous in 1975, my rate was 18%. And then you could see it drop down, and we dropped as low as the 4 and 2% at some point. But I think we're leveling off now and we're starting to find that sweet spot with the rates. So obviously, the lower the rates go, the more opportunities there are to purchase, especially here in South Florida. So it's a positive thing, and I do believe it's going to continue to go down, but not as fast as people think. I think they're going to want to keep it around that 5.5%, which is statistically normal, is usually what the rate is.
Excellent. Okay, great. And I also wanted to, looking at the chat, thank you, Alex, for that comment. He was talking about that last condo he sold was in 14 days, and the one prior to that is 13 days. So we're hearing, anecdotal. That's great. Thank you, Alex, for putting that in the chat. All right, Alfredo, this is something that a new graphic that we updated this month because we got the final numbers for 2025. And look at this. This is 10 million and up home sales, 361 in 2025. That is 2 times the number in 2020. And really, if you think about it, it's there was a $10 million home sold every single day last year.
Hmm.
Think about that. Every single day. Alfredo, how many did you sell? No, I'm just kidding.
I visited them. I visited them. I'm still I visited them, and one's with a lot more than $10 million, and that this is a great stat to show. And I like how you broke it down that it was almost one every day, because you're seeing here the difference. If you look at 2018, 2019, and 2020, we hovered about 100 plus, and then the big jump after the pandemic when everybody found out how nice it was to be here in Miami, they all came and purchased those $10 million properties. Those remain strong. And I think if you look and you take the average, you're sitting there over 300 over the last really 4 years. So you can no longer say that we're not the ultra luxury is not here. We just saw that now with Google. One of the Google founders just purchased $170 million plus property here in Coconut Grove, the area that I work with Compass here in the Grove, that they purchased that property. So the wealthy are enjoying our weather. I'm in a sweater today because it's a little bit cold, but the wealthy are enjoying the weather. But that's here to stay, and I think that's a market or a segment that if you're not there, you're going to see or be a part of it in the near future.
Definitely, yeah. 45 degrees this morning in Miami. Amazing.
It's warm, yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully they didn't bring
Uh,
the cold from up north. Hopefully it stays warm. It's just a one day.
right. Yeah, exactly. All right. So Miami market fundamentals. This is, what makes Miami different from Los Angeles and Chicago and New York. Um, Total population gains, international migration, new companies. Here's a look at our projected population, projected to rise by 14% by 2050. So these are the future home buyers. And then, of course, you mentioned like everybody who's coming from the high tax, high density states. So it's only going to increase, right, in the future.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you're seeing is as the businesses come in here, they're gonna bring also with them quite a few people. I mean, we see that now. I'm glad you put that stat up. So one of the ones that has come across my desk is a few of the Citadel buyers. And they're coming in, they're purchasing down here in South Florida, and they're buying, quite a bit of real estate because their companies are coming down here. So there's no longer the vacation hub. This is really, like it says there, global tech companies, global powerhouse. I keep saying this, Miami is truly global. And I know we'll hopefully hear Mayor Suarez share about that in the inaugural. But I think Miami is now everybody's here and everybody wants to be here. It's no longer New York. It's no longer California. Hate to say that for them, but born and raised in Miami, this is what you're seeing is we're now a financial and a technology hub.
Yeah, I love it. I was born and raised in California. Um, and there's a stat that we found the other day that Florida gains a taxpayer every minute and California loses two every minute.
Yep.
And so we want to turn that into a graphic that would be
Yeah,
phenomenal.
no, and that's great. I mean, because you're seeing it. You're a perfect example of you're coming from another state and your lifestyle is not changing, it's actually improving here. And that's why you're getting two versus one over there. So I think that's a testament to also what we're doing here on a with taxes and from business level to make sure that it's business friendly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and my parents and my younger brother still lives in California, and they're always talking about, the taxes and how, the costs have really increased in California.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're enjoying it here. Yep. So I'm glad you're here, Chris. You're one of us now. You're part of.
Yes. All right. And then, so another thing that makes us different, Alfredo, is our international migration. And, everybody talks about Miami-Dade, but take a look at this graphic. Broward, gets so many international residents too. So it's really amazing what we have here in Miami, right?
Yeah, I think one of the things, and I'm sure you have a few more reports that you'll show, but a lot of our reports that we show is I think Miami gets over, I think it's 20% of the migration from other countries come into internationally come into Miami and to Florida, and even more. So I know we'll pull that out probably later, but we continue to see international buyers come over here, and we're starting to see them from different areas now, where before it was maybe Latin America and Europe. We're starting to see even from Asia and different markets that had not been here before.
Dubai, UAE.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Okay, so let's talk about domestically. Where in the U.S. are they coming from? And of course, we know it's New York and Chicago, but here are some specific counties that are members you could target. But yeah, Alfredo. So let's say it's a brand new realtor is watching this on LinkedIn or on YouTube. Just joined as a Miami member, and they see this graphic here. How can they use this to make more deals?
So this is one of my favorite ones because it's telling you pretty much where the majority of them are coming from. So New York's an obvious one, right? That's a big feeder market. But then when you start to look at different things like Kings County, New York, like what's happening in Kings County, New York, what business is there? Fulton County, Georgia, right? You want to look at these areas where they're coming from and see what businesses are there. So like you see the Washington, I assume it's a small little company called Amazon that's there, but you also have a bunch of tech companies there. So you want to find out where people are moving here and what businesses they're coming from because you might have connections either through their HR departments or you might have known someone that works there. So there's great opportunities being that realtor or being that resource for them. And also when you're doing your marketing, you now know where people are coming from. So this is probably one of the best ones is to find out who's moving here and what businesses. The same way you showed the other one before, they correlate a lot where they're coming from, right? Illinois, Citadel they're probably going to be one of the biggest buyers in the next few years down here. So that's how I would use it if I'm a realtor watching this. That's how I would use these reports.
Excellent. Love it. Yes, that's phenomenal. All right. Okay, so let's do some global trivia. Thank you again for everybody on the chat. I kind of dropped the ball. We didn't do a lot of marketing for this, but we still had, thank you, at least, 20 people here on the call. And so here's our Miami Global Trivia. Let's see who knows these questions here. What is the top foreign country purchasing in South Florida? How many countries purchase Miami? This is Miami, only Miami new construction. That's for number two, because we've put out several new construction reports. And then number three is what percentage of Florida global real estate sales are made in South Florida? So if you could type into the chat, at least give me the answer to number one. This is an answer that everybody should know. The top foreign country purchasing in South Florida.
I go yell at one of them that's in the office and tell them the answer. I'm just kidding. Hopefully. So
Yeah, we'll see if they know. But yeah, I really appreciate that, and we'll find out a little bit later. All right, median sale price. Alfredo, what is the latest? These are brand new stats that we're releasing to the media as we speak. Actually, our members are getting it first. So this is the median sale prices down slightly for single family and condos. But we wanted to mention this program here. Alfredo, could you give a breakdown on this and why it's so important that our realtors know about this?
So this was one of the programs that for those the people that were with the condos that they were able to get a purchase or get loan amounts towards the assessment. So we have with the association and definitely with Florida Realtors, Miami Realtors, we do a lot of different things where we want to make sure that you all are aware of it. So these programs come and when they come out, there's opportunities for you to help your buyers, help your sellers to be part and get these assessments done. So this is one for Miami-Dade Condo Special Assessment Program, which they had produced last year. And I'm hoping now after guard that they'll resend it out. But that's the same thing as the other loan programs that the state has done in the past. One of the things that if a realtor sees this or watches this video is when these programs come out, the money is there for a certain allotted amount of time, or these programs last for a certain amount of time. So it's kind of a first come, first serve. So that's why you want to watch these trainings or just make sure that you're up to date with the market stats because you'll find that information there. So I think that's probably one of the most important things is make sure you're keeping an eye out on these programs that come out.
Yes, that's awesome. And then speaking with Danielle, she said when they restart this program that is going to be targeted to seniors, which is a good idea.
And seniors is a big segment of our condo market. Chris, with the stats you showed before on the median sales price, one of the things that if you go back and everybody notices, it's dropped 2.2%. So and it's dropped another 2%, right? So sometimes we don't want to look at negative numbers, but this is a good thing because what this means is the market's correcting on its own and it's not having drastic drops. So the Broward one, I think it was at 9%. So some of our markets are seeing drops or slight drops in prices. And that's a good thing because that's an average correction. Anything 10% or below is really a normal market. It's not anything drastic or to be worried about. So I get interviewed and asked this question a lot. What do you think? Is the market going to go bad? The market right now is stable in Florida and Miami. And these are just average corrections. What this is going to do, especially with the rates dropping, is it's going to be mean that that buyer that was on the fence can now buy. So this is good news if I'm a buyer, and it's not bad news if I'm a seller because it means that now the buyers are out looking and they're going to be making that purchase. So it works for both.
I love that. Yeah, thank you, Alfredo, for saying that 100%. Because really, we just can't have an increase every single month. There has to be some leveling off. But yeah, 100%. That's great.
You see it also in Broward. I know we jumped back, but I know you were on the Broward one, but you could see it there too. The slight drop, single family homes remain strong, but then if you look at condos, right? That drop of 10% with the rates drop is now an opportunity for that buyer to get into a condo. But what you also have to understand is what you just said. The majority of people that own these condos or townhouses have owned them for the last 5+ years. So they already have equity. So what I'm trying to say is if you're a seller, don't be too greedy because there's a normal correction. And maybe greedy is not the best word, but you have a average price that you can get maximum. And with the rates dropping, you can now sell your property and be into another one. So I think there's going to be a good window for buying and selling in the next 4 months here in Miami and Florida.
Yeah, I love that. In the news release that we're sending to the media today, that was one of the stats I have in there. Miami condo sale prices have appreciated 102% in the last 10 years. So it's not just about looking at year over year, but take a wider look.
Correct. So that's still a 90% profit if you take it into account this side. So the sellers need to be very aware of that. And then it's our job as realtors, especially as Miami realtors, that we have this data. Because I will say this, and I know we got a few other slides to go, but Miami does provide probably some of the most in-depth reports, and they're there and they're used by a lot of different realtors and organizations. So I think if you're a realtor watching this, jump into these reports. These will help you make sure you solidify that with the client.
Yes. Also wanted to thank Pamela. She made a guest there on the top foreign country purchasing. Colombia's number two, so very close. All right, so here's the Palm Beach median sale prices. All right, so historically, median sale prices for Miami-Dade. Alfredo, this is another good one in terms of if you want to sell Miami real estate and market Miami. That yeah, there declines, but in the end, Miami prices always end up positive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you hear this. No, I know because you hear this from the developers and you hear this from different ones. Miami before would be the roller coaster, and it still has a little bit of roller coasters, but they're not as big jumps as before. So with these big companies, with these different businesses coming in, Miami has become pretty much the safest or one of the safer places to put or park your money, and Florida also. So this is the whole state, and this has a lot to do with what they've done. So this is a great number to see because you could see even when it dropped, it still was positive.
Yes. And so we have that for Miami. We have it for Broward. Here's a look at Broward since 2008. And then here's a look at um, Palm Beach. Again, if you guys want this PowerPoint, just type in your chat, your email into the chat, and after I'll collect them all and I will send you this PowerPoint. Here's a look. All right, listings are still below historical average. This is we have the 2004 number, but I'm going to get the 2005 number. But yes, Alfredo, the listings are increasing, but it's still below the historical average.
Yeah, well, we need to. This is one of the ones that's important because people a lot of times say that there's too much inventory, and you can see these waves of inventory side. The inventory, and you look at 2009, 2010. There's always going to be a buyer. There's always going to be a seller on that side. So there are different subsegments where the inventory you need to watch it, especially local areas. But the demand for Miami is so high, right? There's so many things happening globally and also domestically that Miami is where everybody's coming to. So this inventory, the number that I would watch if I'm people here is it says 15,939, right? So our average 18,000. If you go back to 2020, we were at 16,000 in 2019, 20,000. With that inventory got purchased and we were at 9,000 and 10,000 and 11,000 the following 3 years. So almost 6,000 units moved within that time frame. So if you compare, you look at the history, you look at the reports, the same way as when you see there's 26,000, 24,000, 2009, that inventory again got purchased up. So one of the things that people forget about inventory is it gets just as fast as it comes up, it goes when the numbers are right. So that little 2% correction or 5% correction and the rates dropping could be a spark, and that could quickly eat up the inventory. So just things to watch. What happened before could happen again.
Yeah, those are great points. And that I wrote it down. I'm gonna update this graphic with 2020 25. So next time we come here, we'll see those numbers. All right, so how much of a bang for your buck can you get from in Miami versus Shanghai, Paris, LA, Hong Kong? You get so much more, and that's, goes back to the very first graphic that we showed that why the ultra luxury buyers are coming here. You get more bang for your billions, right?
Yeah, as a retired YPN, if you look at these other countries and these other areas, these other cities, if you look at them, they're a lot older than Miami. So this is one thing that I've been a big proponent of, and I've been sharing, is Miami's 129 years old. So compared to LA is about 245 or 250, and New York is over 400 years old. So what that means is if you look at what you get compared to other areas in the value, and just as a business and a city, Miami is still a teenager, if anything, compared to the other countries and the other cities. So if I'm a buyer, I'm a seller, if I'm someone that wants to come and build a business here, and I'm looking at every other country on this report, Miami still has a lot to go in terms of age before it even drops down to those prices. So it's still the best value.
Yes. Yes. Miami's a teenager, and we're looking to be going to a very good college, right?
It seems like it. Seems like it. I graduated FIU, so representing the Golden Pack. But go you. I have to say go you because if not, Gus Fonte would get upset.
Very big game for the U on Monday, so we'll see. Okay, so how do we compare 2026 to 2008? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, well, prices can't just keep going up, up, and up." Are we going to have another 2008? How do you, simplify that response, Alfredo?
No, I think you're seeing it now with the leveling off of the market. And the other thing is what you have here on the report, there's more cash in the market now than there was during that time. So if you look at that, the exotic loan programs, I didn't get to see them. I only saw the aftermath of it, but we don't have that anymore. So in terms of especially Miami, there's so much cash in here that is going to be probably that's the equalizer in it. And you're already seeing like we've seen in the last few reports. There's normal corrections, 5, 6%. So there's already those corrections there, which before you never had the correction. It was just a straight up climb. So we've already been in a correction the last few years. So if you look at the reports, it kind of been a little bit of correction. So I believe that moving forward, we're not going to see so big of ebb and falls from our market.
Interesting. I like it. I like it. And then you mentioned cash sales. Miami cash sales, 40% of Miami closed sales are cash. The national average, 27%.
Yeah, so cash remains king in Miami, Florida, and I think it'll stay like that for a little while.
For sure. All right, closed sales. How many closed sales? We hinted at the beginning. Um, Positive on total sales, single family sales, condo. Alfredo did a great job talking about condos. But look at that, up 8%, 1,009 condo sales in December, which is supposed to be a slow month. And here's a look at Broward in Palm Beach. Um, But Alfredo, normally December is a slow month. What do you believe that the mortgage rates played a role in that?
Yeah, I think I'm glad you asked that question. I think the mortgage rates and also the markets remain they keep going up. And what I mean the markets keep going up is the stock market and all that. So a lot of that cash needed to move into 1031 exchanges, purchases. So a lot of that wanted to be in and purchased before the end of the year. So I believe that's part of what sparked it was a lot of that money wanted to move in and they wanted to move into something, an asset that they knew was a stable asset. So that's what December, and also our cycles changed. Our market cycles change where we across the country, if you look at this, and I know we don't have this reported yet, but if you look at it, you're seasonal. So even though we don't have winter here and the coldest is going to be this week where I'm wearing my sweater, it's still seasonal in terms of businesses. So usually our spring season is our busiest season. Last year, our spring was a slower season because the rates were higher. So you saw that then pushes towards the end of the year. So that
Uh,
also plays a part in it, that pent up demand. And then when the rates just dropped, like that 6.2 right around there, that was also a little bit of a spark. But you do see a lot of the ultra wealthy, like you saw the purchases that are happening, they did move into Florida, and a lot of them moved in one for tax purposes. A lot of them, that's why they moved the money out of these other states. And I won't go into it too much, but there was also a lot of political stuff happening at the end of the year with New York and other areas. So we did see a spike in people looking and buying down here, even if it was a second home. So it was a few different things with our market, but I believe this year is going to be, and I know it's going to be more of a seasonal, where our traditional season, where our spring will be busy.
wow, that's super smart analysis. That's
Prediction. You can quote me on that, but that'll be my prediction. I think it's going to be a fun spring season, as opposed to last year. December was a little bit busier.
yes. No, but it makes 100% sense. That's great that people wanted to move their money. They had to move it into another asset, stable asset. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you'll see a lot, especially at the end of the year, any peaks or when corporations start to move in, you'll see sometimes those peaks, and they vary. You see that a lot sometimes during when we have hurricanes, you'll see sometimes the sales get pushed because you can't close when you have insurance or
Yes.
so you'll see you might have been packed in listings. So one of the things that I do watch is this report actually. So this came right on time. Is I watch what's pending, what's coming active, what is going on there, because that's super important to know ahead of time. If I have a good amount of pending sales and the listings are lower, I can see that might be an opportunity for prices or to push the prices. Or if I have more inventory, I can then look at if I'm a buyer, I'm going to have uh more opportunities. So this is a great report to watch your market watch.
Yeah. And like what you said, when hurricanes come, that everything is put on hold, so the sales get carried over into the next month. Is 100. It's true.
Yeah, and those are just things, seasonal things to watch.
Seasonal. Yep. All right. So let's talk about some of the free tools that Miami members have. Yes, 100% free. We have IMAP, most accurate property data. We have SunStats. We have Miami Realtors zip code reports, brand new ones that we're posting this afternoon. And I hope you wrote it down, sfmarketintel.com. And then we also have RPR. Um, Alfredo, maybe I've asked this before, but I know Matrix is number one for you. IMAP is number two?
No, no, IMAP. So that's a trick question, Chris. Is your report? So that's your reporter says, I'm putting on my glasses to make sure I'm reading the right thing. IMAP's one of my favorite tools. If you don't know about IMAP, you can pull all different types of reports from here. It even connects to your RPR. It'll give you market stats. It'll show you even some commercial properties. It'll show you a lot of different things. So IMAP is probably one of those underrated tools that us older realtors still know and use about. The youth likes RPR. And I love all the tools that Miami provides, but IMAP is probably one of the best tools if you want to dive into a lot of data and know what's going on a property. And shout out to Chris and shout out to the Miami professionals team. They have some of the best tools, and we have some of the best tools in the country. And I know that because now in the role that I'm in, I get to speak with all the other associations and the other brokers. And Miami offers so many tools, just like IMAP, RPR, everything that you mentioned, that I don't believe we take enough advantage of it. It's a great opportunity for your clients to see all the data right in front of them.
Yes, I love it. All right, so that's on IMAP. Great job there. And then here's a look at RPR. This is an example of, neighborhood reports that you could do on NPR. I'm saying RPR. And then here's SunStats. This is, again, it's a free Miami product and service. And a lot of the charts that I've done in this PowerPoint that you guys are going to get when I email you are from SunStats. And I think you think this is I think it's a must for realtors to use, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Sunstats also gives you a detailed report into certain zip codes. So one of the things with Sunsets is it'll give you, so like if you're where I'm at in Coconut Grove, you can get that report specific to that. Or if you're in Broward, you can get specific cities. So when you're meeting with your clients or you're doing any videos for online, you have the actual live data. You have the data that comes out so you can use it. So this is Sunsets is a good one. And it also builds these little charts for you that you can use for your marketing.
Excellent. Um, Trying
And
to do a
if you all have questions in the chat, feel free to put them in on there. If you all have anything on there, feel free. The chat is interactive.
yes. I was just putting together a poll. I wanted to see what was their. Let me launch it.
Oh, I see Sophia. We got Sophia on there, our Broward president.
Hi, everyone. Great, great, great information. I am taking tons of notes. Thank you so much, Chris and Chairman Alfredo, for this.
Hey, Sophia.
No, thank you, Sophia, for being here. Yes. So let's look at Sunset. So I put in a poll. I wanted to see what is your favorite Miami tool, and if you have another one, just type it in. So here's our dollar volume. Let's take a look at dollar volume. Oops. Here's a look in December, which is, supposedly a slow month, but $1.9 billion in Miami-Dade, 1.2 billion in Broward. Take a look at Palm Beach, 2.1 billion, up 51% in year over year. But this is phenomenal. This shows you the power of the industry that we're in, right, Alfredo?
Yeah, and one of the things with the chart is if you look, you can see like the 23, like this report's really good because you can see 2023, 2024, that peak. So I know I can't really draw too much on there, but I put a little dot, but that peak up there. Um, and then you could see how now the peak goes in there. So those months, right, where you look at the reports, those months show you where the money's coming in. So if I'm watching this and I'm seeing the dollar volume, you could see it's that January, February, March, see the peak, how it comes up and then it drops, and you can see if anything changes. So these are good things when you're comparing charts or you want to know what to expect. You can kind of combine all this data and it'll help you kind of see, okay, is this going to be a busier beginning of the year or a busier end of the year, or where's the money coming through? And so these are great reports to look at.
Yes. And so, yeah, historically, our sales tend to jump, would you say in May, April, May,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, you look at right after April, it's
oh yeah,
every time when taxes come out, and then like as long as there's nothing with weather, then you could see that peak side of there. It all varies, right? There could be different things, but you want to look at the jumps there. You can see May was very, very high, and again, May in 2025. So you could see that gap.
yes, great to keep in mind. Yeah, okay, let's take a look at months of supply. This is a very important indicator of market conditions. So we want 6 to 9 months as a balanced market. That's good for sellers, good for buyers. Less than 6 months is a seller's market. More than 9 months is a buyer's market. And here's a calculation that you guys could do. Actually, you could do it whatever zip code block that you're trying to farm. But here's our Miami-Dade months of supply. So overall, it's 9.8 months. Single family, it is a balanced market, 6.2 months. And condos is a buyer's market at 13.2.
I want to say something on this because this is a good one. This is a misconception that a lot of people think when you see these reports and you see, okay, 9.8 months, every single market is a buyer's market. That is not always true. There are certain neighborhoods, certain areas, certain locations, certain buildings that people want to be in. So this is on a whole county-wide scope. So this is where, as a realtor, it's super important that you dive into the specifics of your areas because some subsets of those markets could be a seller's market, and some might be an even higher buyer's market. So it's important to know because this is the average side, and sometimes we look at 9.8 months and we're like, oh, I can buy whatever I want. Not always the case. In some buildings, some locations, all depends what is happening at that time.
Yeah, I love it. And then later on, we have several graphics in Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach, where the hottest markets to purchase, and it's based on the lowest months of supply. And wait until you get to we have some new graphics coming up after at the end. But here's Miami-Dade months of supply by price point, and exactly what Alfredo's talking about. I mean, you could even break it down by price bucket, and it differs whether you're in a seller's or balanced or a buyer's market. So it all depends. It goes back to I know Eddie Blanco said it one time, and they asked him, how's the market, and he says, which one?
Yeah, that's why I learned from him, and that's 100% right. It's which one? Are you buying a condo? Are you buying a single family? Are you buying an investment? What market are you in? And then you can dive down and really say, okay, this is where I'm at on numbers. And that's a great quote.
Yeah, I love it. So okay, here it is. Quarter four stats. We just did it this week. I wanted to thank Bolivar. He's on our design team. He's helps with news release day for the last several years, and he put these together for me. So these are the hottest market with the lowest months of supply, just like Alfredo was talking about. Kendall only 3.6 months. Florida City only 5.2. Alfredo, any of these that you wanted to talk about? Any cities?
No, I mean, I think this is a great report to watch, the hot markets. If you're reading your economic insights and the reports that you all put out, you'll know beforehand. So these, when these reports come out, they're showing already what's happening on there. So you definitely don't want to be the last one here if you're looking to buy or do something in these areas. But these are great reports to kind of see where the influx is happening or where people are doing the majority of the business.
Yes, I love it. I wanted to take a look at that poll. Um, Alfredo, do you see the poll? Like, what was the top? I can't get to it now.
I do not see it. I do not see the poll on my end. I for sure used it though. I don't know where it is. But while we wait to do that, I'll shout out some more people. Don't worry. So I see Alan. Alan's on there. So Alan, you know who you are. So just want to say hi to him in case he's paying attention on that side. All right. We see now, Chris, we're looking at right now, Kendall, the same report.
Yeah. I can't find the poll, but um, that's fine. All right, so here's a look at Broward. I don't know what happened there with Broward, but it's a little garb. Can't read it, but we'll move over to Palm Beach. Here's a look at Palm Beach. Jupiter only 3.4 months. Palm Beach Gardens at 4.8 months.
One thing with Palm Beach and the other markets is the Florida, Miami, especially all our markets, because we're growing so much, you really, if you're a realtor, you really want to focus on a specific area. And I hear this all the time from some of our top brokers, which they are doing the $10 million plus properties. They will not sometimes go into another area or they will refer out to another realtor in a Palm Beach area. So like we have JTHS, our Jupiter to Cuesta Hope Sound. So, Jamie is the current president, but what I'm trying to say here is if I don't work in Palm Beach or that market, it's a good thing to start getting to know some of your fellow realtors so you can refer that business out because Miami and Florida is becoming super hyper local because all the population is being growing so much. So Chris, you know this, like in California, Orange County is a lot different than Malibu, right? I think I got that right, or than LA. So some
Yeah,
area there's Manhattan and there's upstate New York. So that's the same thing that's happening right now in Miami and in Florida. So these reports are really good to know because you might have clients in those other areas, and you can connect with another realtor to service them.
Yes, 100%. And I was able to find the poll. So IMAP and RPR tied for the most votes for the most favorite Miami tool, which is interesting. Nobody voted for SunStats. So I think, Alfredo, we need to get more people using SunStats.
All right. Well, then, and hopefully I'm working on some stuff, so we'll see. We'll see what we do this year, but we'll hopefully have even more reports that we can give to our realtors.
Yes. All right, so active inventory listings. So 17,305 listings in Miami-Dade. You take a look at Broward and Palm Beach. Alfredo, I think at the last year, maybe in February 2005, March, listings were going up 15%, 20%. And it's really slowed down to the point where Palm Beach, where negative listings year over year. So you could see how the market is shifting.
Yeah, you have to watch that in certain markets because sometimes what that means is some of these sellers are taking the properties off the market. And what I mean by off the market is they're either going to wait until maybe the spring season, or they're pausing, or it was holidays. So you do see that too sometimes in the market of there. But like I said, anything at 10% or so is under is usually healthy. So even with the active inventory in Miami-Dade, yes, it's up 8%, but it's not anything that is too drastic. So it's just something to keep an eye out. But then if you're watching this and you're in Palm Beach and that inventory is lowering, and then you're a buyer, now might be the time to make sure you get something.
Yeah. Is that what they're calling delistings? When you
Yeah.
take it off?
Well,
Okay.
I don't know if it's delisting, but some of them will pause. I mean, there's different names for it, but it's just a seller. Life happens. So maybe they didn't make the sale before the end of the year. So you saw that peak. They weren't one of them. Or something with financing. Maybe the financing, the buyer couldn't get the certain rate and they decided to pause. So you'll see them maybe bring it back in spring. So some of those things are seasonal. So it's just things to keep an eye out on that. But if it stays going lower, like you said, delisting, or the house's inventory is getting purchased, then people are moving there. So that's another factor, is because Miami-Dade and Broward prices jump, the Palm Beach is not just the Palm Beach that we see on TV. Palm Beach is quite a big area that you have. So there's different price points there. It's not just the ultra wealthy in Palm Beach.
It's not just Mar-a-Lago?
It's not just Mar-a-Lago. It's not just Mar-a-Lago, which is a beautiful building and a beautiful place. It's not just that. It's other big. It's also small. It's also small areas. There's a lot of different areas in Palm Beach, and I think that's one of the misconceptions. And that's why knowing your market is so important because if you understand that, you understand it's not just those properties. You have quite a bit of different inventory.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a recap some of the things that we've talked about. Active listings not growing as fast. Um, Alfredo talked about he saw 5.99 at one point for an hour. Mortgage rates, pending sales, by the way, are still rising again. So we could be back here next month with more sales. All right, global trivia answers. All right, the first question was, what is the top foreign country purchasing in South Florida? The Messi effect.
All right.
Argentina. And I believe someone, I like what Sophia said, Broward is a hot market. I love it.
So
Uh,
Argentina, yes. So we have the stadium coming down here. So that is the Messi is down here, and look at all those areas, all the different parts that are coming in here. One to watch is in Europe, Spain. So that was an interesting one. That Spain was on one of the top ones purchasing here in Miami.
yes. Yeah, so it's Samuel Ramirez. He's the one who guessed Argentina. And also Colombia is a very good guess because, look at that. Colombia 14%, Argentina at 18%. Canada, of course, is there, Brazil. And so look forward to our new global study, which will be released, we hope, later this month. How many countries purchased Miami new construction? 73. This is a graphic that did very well on social media and continues to do well. But Alfredo, this is something that our realtors can use to sell Miami. I mean, how many other cities can say this?
I don't think anybody really in the world can say that 73 countries buy in Florida. And this is something also for the realtors to understand. We have over 290 agreements. I'm not gonna say the numbers. I don't know if it's 295, 293, but we have over 290 agreements with countries and their MLSs. What that means is that everybody like is wants to be down here in Miami. So this 73 is great, but we also, as a local board, we have, thanks to Teresa and our association, we have 290 plus agreements with these countries, which means we have reciprocal agreements where we share a lot of information. And so that's a great opportunity. If you're from one of these countries, reach out to them because they will eventually be buying here if they haven't already.
Yes, amazing. 73 countries. That's just Miami new construction. And by the way, read our new construction reports. I'm gonna put the links into the chat. What percentage of Florida global real estate sales are made in South Florida? This is our CEO, Teresa Kinkinney's favorite graphic in the PowerPoint. 49%, basically half of Florida international purchases happen in South Florida. And look how far away, Orlando, you would think would be higher, but that separation really shows that Miami is on a different level.
Yeah, I mean everybody wants to be down here. And so like I think you just said it there. It's a complete there's no one close to what we're doing down here in these markets.
Yes.
And 49% that includes, and the 49% also includes Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach. But that being said, it's still a quarter plus of the business is coming directly through Miami, Florida.
Yes. Amazing. All right, tools and resources. We want to emphasize everything, all the free tools that Miami Realtors have. Again, SunStats, it's not just county stats on SunStats. You have zip code, you have city stats. And what's crazy is that it goes back, I want to say, till 2008. It's a pretty good database that more realtors should use. We also have co-branded marketing materials. It's free for members. 20 reasons to buy in Miami, 20 reasons to buy in Broward, et cetera, et cetera. Just put your logo in the corner. That is free for Miami members. We have Miami Photify, which is basically only available on your phone. But our design department has put together more than 1,000 templates. So really all you have to do is go in there, pick your favorite template, and then put your headshot, your information, and your company logo. It's free. Miami Photify.
The cool things I see Arlene on there, and I see David and a few of the other board members. But the realtor branding from Photofy, that's something that you guys put together, the professionals, and it's a really cool tool because it gets the stats taken on there. There was a question from Ruben in the chat if 49% was both residential and commercial. It's residential, the 49% international. Yet Gay Coraton, she is putting together a report, and she's done together a commercial report along with Chris, which is a great report which shows you where the international buyers are buying commercial. So go on the website. There's also commercial stats there. They posted one last year, which is a really great report, and it'll show you which are the organizations that are buying here in multifamily or retail or industrial, who's buying down here from those other countries. So just want to make sure I shared that. That's a great report to get.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Alfredo. Yes, and I put the link, miamirealtors.com/economic insights. That should take you to Olive Gay. Actually, we just posted another one of her blogs today, so yes, please utilize that. And so we have a comprehensive market reports. This is what you're going to see on sfmarketintel.com later this afternoon. And so, today is news release day, so we have an entire package coming out. We have a market focused video, Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach. You'll see that on social media. We have infographics. We have top indicators. So it's a lot of things that you'll see posted, but you'll have access at sfmarketintel.com. We have zip code. Yes. Sorry about that. We have zip code and city reports. A lot of questions about, oh, you just have monthly reports. We have in county reports. We have zip code and city reports. Again, you'll see that on sfmarketintel.com. RPR, which tied for the top Miami tool with IMAP. And then Alfredo was talking about all the different tools that we have. And so if you have any questions about anything that we provide, our trainers do a phenomenal job teaching classes. And so these are our three trainers. These are their email and their phone number. So if you have any questions, please utilize them. All right, so we're getting to the end. Alfredo, so cross market demand, this is realtor.com puts this out. I thought this is great. How, what markets are looking at Miami-Dade listings? And of course, you see all the New Yorks. But what are some other ways? You mentioned, marketing. But what are some other ways that realtors could use this? Maybe working referrals, uh, maybe using our intro matrix system.
Yeah, thanks for that setup. But yes, we have partnerships with some of these areas like Georgia where you can toggle. So thanks, Chris, for that volley. I forgot about that system. So we are one of the few MLSs that we share the data, meaning you can see what's going on in Georgia or those different areas. So it's a great opportunity for you to go in there and use those tools. You can also see one of the ones that we don't see here on there, but I'm sure we'll do it for the next one we do is the international data. There's a lot of international listings on our MLS. And so here, this is great because we can see number two is Virginia. So that's all the government officials or people moving down here to Miami or Florida. And then New York, obviously, is a great feeder market. But we, as like you said, it's a great opportunity for referrals from an international standpoint. Besides the intramatrix and that side, you also have our MLS allows you to put international properties and see them. So that's another tool that you could definitely use. So we do a lot of different partnerships, and that's thanks to you guys, Chris. And I think it's a great, great tool that the Miami Realtors has. So Intramatrix, I think Chris, you just put it in the chat. It's California, Atlanta, and a few other ones that are there.
Yes, and it's actually global. We just signed a partnership with I want to say in Canada, and then we also have in Mexico as well. So next time I'm going to update the PowerPoint to include a map of all the different agreements that we have with MLSs. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yes, Doc.
yes, that'd be great. So here's a look at Broward. What markets are looking at Broward County listings? And then here's a look at Palm Beach. It's amazing in Palm Beach. You mentioned earlier about New York increasing their purchases at the end of last year, and a lot of those were in Palm Beach because New York loves South Florida, but they really love Palm Beach. Wouldn't you say that, Alfredo?
Yeah, maybe it's a couple degrees colder up there than here, but so yeah, they love Palm Beach. I mean, our love 'em or hate 'em, our Dolphins owner lives in Palm Beach, and we have a lot of other people that live in Palm Beach. So yeah, I think you look at that, and some of those markets go to where they're at or where the businesses are. So like that I think is the key. It's a lot of them go to where the businesses are located or where they're relocating down here into South Florida.
Yeah. And that's one of the graphics I was just thinking about earlier today that I like to put together, because they call Palm Beach the Wall Street of the South.
Yep.
And there's been 250 financial firms that have moved to Palm Beach County since the pandemic.
And the other thing is now because of the Bright Line, it's the same way as someone taking a train from upstate New York into well, not upstate, but outside of Manhattan into the city. So from Palm Beach to go to our financial epicenter to go to Brickell, it's an hour and a half on the train, maybe even less from Palm Beach. So and no traffic. So I think as we build the Bright Line out and we build out some of these infrastructures, that's why the future for Miami is bright because we have all those different parts that we haven't even dove into.
Yeah, and that's key. What's key? What you said was no traffic. That's what we need.
Yeah, you get to work in the train, relax a little bit, and you don't gotta be in traffic on there. So the public transportation, as that gets better, that especially for Wall Street of the South, that helps.
Yes, that is huge. All right. So we have Alfredo's information. Alfredo, um, thank you so much for being here, and taking the time and being our chairman of the board. You're going to be installed in February, but thank you so much for everything you do for us, and this is going to be a great year.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Thanks everybody for jumping in here. Definitely take a look at for these stats and these updates. And those of you that do want to go to Guard, the Great American Realtor Days, I do believe there's still spots available. And so reach out to the Miami professionals, and we definitely look forward to seeing you all there.
Yes, great. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Arlene. I just saw your comment there, and for everybody for joining us today. And we will see you next time.
Thanks. Thanks,
Have a
Chris.
great weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.